So we move to our next section within Practice Exam 1. Here we're dealing with a corporation and indeed an individual, and in the main this area of gains or capital gains tax. Let's take a look at the scenario on the left-hand side first. We see Kitten, a controlling shareholder in a private limited company. In relation to the company itself, we see that there's some details in relation to a freehold factory being sold. They give us the information in relation to the gain, 127,000, and some details in relation to the original purchase and improvements or enhancements. We're also given the indexation factor. Remember that if chargeable gains comes up for companies, indexation is going to be relevant, and it's only relevant for companies, not for individuals. We're provided with an indexation factor. The calculations are not overly complex at all. Moving down the scenario here on the left-hand side, there's reference to the whole area of the reinvestment of the proceeds in relation to the above disposal. So in essence, what the inference here is this whole area, obviously, of rollover relief for companies. Now again, across the board in TX, whether or not it's a corporation or an individual, reliefs and indeed conditions relating to reliefs are key to your success. We've got to rote learn them. Moving down into the details for the individual, i.e. Kitten, the controlling shareholder, we see reference to gains in relation to the disposal of ordinary shares in the company. We're also kindly told that the disposal qualifies for business asset disposal relief. Now, what are the implications of that? Note, in relation to the shares and the build-up of the shares over time, as expected within a CGT question for individuals, the matching or identification rules are coming into play. We've got to be familiar with those three main areas. Remember, for an individual, same day first, next 30 days, and thirdly and finally, the share pool. So this area here is prompting us of a requirement to really decipher where there's a disposal, where have the cost of the shares come from. In addition to that, we're given some details in relation to an antique vase, chattels in effect, and also some details, of course, in relation to taxable income. Remember the link between income tax and CGT in terms of the use of the basic rate band. So there's a very, very quick run through of the scenario. Let's take a look at the questions. In the first instance, we're asked about the amount of the indexation allowance. Now remember, looking at the scenario, there looked like several things that were relevant in terms of the particular asset. In other words, there's the original cost, obviously, and some capital improvements and some further improvements. Now, in essence, we need to be able to apply indexation factors, which is given to us, to the correct values to calculate an answer to this question. It's not complex. If you're unsure of this, let's get into the study hub and revise how indexation works. It's simple multiplication, but we've got to use the correct figures. Moving into the second question, we see here this is a reference to rollover relief. Now we know, broadly speaking, in relation to rollover relief, whether or not it's an individual or a company, as it is in this case, we're talking about two assets. We're talking about the deferral. And in this particular case, we're suggesting here that if the company decides to purchase a freehold warehouse and makes a claim under the rollover relief rules, what will be the base cost of the warehouse for chargeable gains purposes? In other words, this warehouse, asset number 2, is going to have some sort of gain on the original asset 1 disposal rolled in to the base cost, or the base cost will be reduced. So what is that value? Okay, if you're unfamiliar with the basic conditions and the mechanics of rollover relief, let's get into the study hub and just check it. It's not overly complex. You've got to worry about the value of the proceeds reinvested. Let's remember that. Moving to the next question, in terms of this rollover relief claim, again, they're talking about, let's say, a leasehold office building as opposed to freehold. Now, isn't that a depreciating asset? In other words, it's an asset that depreciates over time. It is a leasehold for a specific period of time. Now, that changes the rules slightly and indeed limits the availability or the time availability for deferral. But how does it do that? It says here, what's the latest date that the holder of gain will crystallize? In other words, there must be a cap on the date. And remember that there's three main areas that really cut that date off. Again, we're back to conditions, in this particular case, on the reinvestment in a depreciating asset, slightly different to an asset that's non-depreciating, i.e. a freehold warehouse. Moving to the next question, here we're asked to decipher the cost in relation to Kitten's disposal of 20,000 ordinary shares. Now, on the left-hand side, we saw some key details in relation to how these shares were purchased over time. Now, clearly, as we read this scenario, we must understand that the share identification rules are relevant. I listed the three areas, and that's what this question is getting at. Where is the cost for the disposal of these shares coming from? Is it coming from same day? Is it coming from next 30 days? Or is it coming from the share pool? Given the reference to this rights issue, I would suggest that part, if not all, is coming from the share pool. So you've got to be able to lay out that share pool showing the imposition of a rights issue. Okay? Moving from there into the next area, a CGT liability. Now, there are several parts to getting this calculation right. Not least, of course, we have a chattel, and we also have reference to the taxable income. So what the examiner is testing here is the basic mechanics of a capital gains tax comp for an individual. I don't think it's overly complex if you know the basics. In essence, then, really across the board here, we've seen several references to shares, to the area of reliefs, rollover, and to basic mechanics within individual CGT. Not overly complex for me. I think this is quite a manageable set of 5 questions. If you're unsure, as I say, let's get into the hub and look at those basic areas and then make an attempt at the question. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for listening.